This is Tesla on the 5-minute time frame. Here are your price targets for Monday. We ended the week at $298.26, up 4.72%. To the north side from where we are takes us back to the middle of the trend and the baseline, and that is roughly $300.46. Above that, at another level of resistance and a potential take profit area, 309.21. Above that, 313.42. This is an area we've been to back in 2024 where I marked out that line. And at 4 standard deviations, that would be roughly $317.88. I do not anticipate price to get to this level on Monday, but at some future point for sure. Now, to the south side, -2 standard deviations and another level of support and a potential buy-in area and a potential stop-loss area, depends on what side of the line you bought, is $291.51. A gap forms to the south side at 289.91, and -3 is at 287.14. -4 takes us to 282.84. This gap closes out at roughly 286.69. Looking left, there was a gap right here when we gapped up on some good news, and that was on Friday. And we gapped up, so whenever we reverse course, that will close out, and this will be support and another level of support, and then this line is also support. Many areas of support and resistance in between -2 and 2 standard deviations. This gap, which formed on Thursday, May 8th, is still also in play to the downside, closing out at 276.54. It starts at roughly 279.44. We touched it here. This acted as support and bounced off of that. We have this gap. It already closed. I never even bothered to mark it out. This gap that opened up on the 5th touched to the upside at roughly 286.77. We gapped down, which means we reverse to hit it to the upside, and we did at that level. So because we are here, and this lines up with the RSI being overextended, this is resistance, down at 30, support, and then the cycle repeats itself. So we could go down, because that's still turning down, and then bounce off of that. All right, what else? Oh, let me clean up this gap. That opened up on the 30th. And that closed to the upside at 291.56. And do I have other gaps that need to be cleaned up? I sure do. Look at this to the downside, 238.39, 229.84. Should we hit this level, I will be buying back in at that level. All right, what happened? Oh, I purchased at 231.83, and on Friday it hit my target of, at that time, I think at that time we were at 2 or 3 standard deviations, and obviously the calculations constantly change. And I got off the gravy train, and then it went higher. It always does. I can never time it, and nobody can. You just set the limit, and if it hits, it hits. So I got out, we ran a little bit more, and then we started to fall down, back up to resistance, fell down, went sideways, blah, blah, blah. And now we're trying to hit this level again. And if we hit this, that will be resistance, and we could chop sideways, or we could grind along this channel. And we are still in an upward channel overall on the 5, but the RSI is going down, and you know what that means. And, oh, so I bought in at 231.83, sold out at 304.34 for a return of 31%. So I'm pretty happy there. The 1-year price target, check this out because it happened on Friday, we actually hit even higher. On Friday, we hit as high as, let me show you, Oh, we hit 307? Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, 307.04. So there, yeah. And then hit resistance and then fell down. So this is going to be updated. All right, to the downside, $115. I don't know about that. But we've hit this, and now the high potential is $470, and that doesn't even take us to the 52-week high. The 52-week high was 488, and I should have gotten out, and I didn't. So lesson learned. But for Tesla, I was just hanging on to these shares for a long time. I mean, I didn't really care about keeping them. I don't care about keeping them forever, but I should have got out because the only tickers I'm saving right now are ETFs, Apple, Microsoft, Palantir, and some SoFi. Everything else I don't care about. So that's Tesla. Let me show you Tesla on the, well, let's go on the daily. Ignore all these. I've marked this out a million times. And then all of the horizontal lines, or not horizontal, vertical lines, are when I track this for a gap play and the gap filled, so I stopped tracking it. But I'm still, oh, I did buy in at 165 a long time ago, and I still have those shares. I'm going to get off the gravy train when we hit that level for the 165. Okay, what else? So the range to the north side takes us to an area we've been roughly in the 349 range. And then to the south side, that takes us back to this 230 area that I bought in. So I will be buying in this zone and definitely in this zone, and then that 160 something down there. All right, that's Tesla. Let me get back to the 5. Now the next one I want to go over is CrowdStrike. But congrats if you did get into microchip. I have tracked this before in the past, and the lowest I've marked, the end of the day price was $39.43, and we've run up since then. But right now, let me just, anyway, I'm not going to go over this except for the two standard deviations, 57.59 and 51.71. So be aware of that. But what I really want to go over is CrowdStrike. I don't really care about the runners. That's easy. These tickers run, but when there's an opportunity to the south side, that's where I like to buy when it tanks on a quality ticker. And do you recall CrowdStrike tanked like crazy? It fell off a cliff because of the breach that happened, and I'll show you that on a bigger time frame. But first, let me give you the price targets. And this thing has run up so much since that low. Okay, we ended the day at 410.57. Let me change the color. I like to be consistent with my color coding for 2025. I was not keeping it consistent previously, and now I'm trying to do a better job so I can see this on a bigger time frame and see quickly what's happening. All right, 423.58. This gap closes to the upside at roughly 428.50. 3SD 430.49, 437.30, and the middle of the trend is roughly 409.45. That's one level of support going down. We could continue our path downward along this line or chop sideways. 396.04. Darn it. Let's try that again. Negative 3 SD. Oh my God, I really need to get rid of that. Let's try it one more time. 389.34. 382.43. This gap closes at 381.46. And, or not closes, it starts at and it closes at 369.12. We're not in that channel, not in the zone. That's not happening for Monday. Just something to be aware of. Negative 2 and 2 standard deviations all day long for day trades. But again, those calculations change. So you could be chasing something. So look at that. All we're going to do is go up to close it all the way down. This is a better buy-in area. If you bought up here, it's a good idea maybe to dollar cost average if you believe in that, and I do. All right, that is it for now. Now let me flip this over to the daily and show you something. All right, I have tracked this at $99, and I kicked myself for not buying in when we are now at 410. And I believe this is when, let me move this out of the way. Let me move this out of the way. Why did I write CRWD video on January 14 and 15? I think that was the day it tanked, when the news came out that they had a malfunction in their software. The airlines were getting companies were getting hacked, and it was horrible. And that is the time to buy in. When people fear, and everyday people are talking about this, you know, most likely it's a good buy-in opportunity. When my friends who don't track the stock market, know nothing about the stock market, are telling me how they fear everything in the stock market, that gets me excited. And that's when I should have bought in and did not. Shame on me. But there were plenty of other things I bought. Okay, so 410.57 is where we are, this purple line. So one range to the upside, 467.98. To the south side, back at the middle of the trend, 379.13. And then that gap to the south side. But -2 will take us to 292.01. And let me clean this up. At least extend some of these gaps that are still in play. This company is still worth $102 billion. It was still in the billions of dollars when it tanked. So that's what I mean by a large cap quality stock that, you know, tanks, but they're not going anywhere. It's like Apple, Tesla, Google, Amazon. I don't think they're going anywhere. All right. Yeah, I tracked this with Trader Murat a long time ago. Okay, so this gap still in play, and then, oh, this one needs to be cleaned up to 342.38. That's done. Now, I'm doing this on the daily. I shouldn't be doing this on the daily because I mark all of these on the 5, so it may not line up. Keep that in mind. Oops, I deleted the wrong thing. Oops, where did I? Oh, no. Hold on one second. Let me do one more. There we go. Jeez. I'm like, I'm missing something. Yeah. Excuse me, my allergies. 342.30. Yeah, I'm being a little dramatic, but it's no fun. I've had this for like 3 weeks. 342.38. Delete. Delete. Okay. That took us to 342.39-ish. And then where did this close out? That took us to 304.41. Delete. This little one closed. What's going on here? I mean, I could be here all day cleaning this up, so I'm not going to bother and bore you. But let me just do one more. And that touched right there, taking us down to 257.51. I'll clean up the others later. But one last one. This is a bonus. I want to do MOG USD. This is a crypto, and my handyman is tracking this one, buying this one. He's so into crypto. So I'm going to track this, and this trades every day. So I'm not going to give you this on the 5 because it just moves too fast. I cannot capture this for you. So that is at, okay, this is hilarious, 11457, okay, and then to the south side, 0.000011449 right now. But I'm going to flip this to the daily, so then I'm going to mark it out, and then we'll come back and revisit this sometime. So here we are, there, middle of the trend. 2 standard deviations. 3. You know what? Just for giggles, you know what I'm going to do? Because I'm not going to come back to this for a little while. Here, I'm just going to mark out some areas of support and resistance and see what price does and how price reacts. Does it act in a normal way where I think support is and bounces? Will it chop sideways if it hits support? Well, no, I don't want that one. That's wrong. Let me put a price tag on this, where we are right now. Okay, that's it. Let's revisit this later. And that is a look at MOG, TSLA, and CrowdStrike. If there is a ticker that you would like me to go over, let me know. Have a great trading day.